From Significant, this is Crack It in an Hour.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Crack It in an Hour. I'm Simon.
I'm Roman.
And I'm Biz.
Biz is here.
I'm here. I'm back.
The people's champ. It's great.
The people's champ.
It's wonderful.
I love that.
We don't know what it means, but that's all right.
No, we're going with that. You're the people's champ. I've had people tell me they really like you, so you're the people's champ.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So for those of you who know, you know it's 1 hour, one problem to crack once a week, and two of us have no idea what the problem is, and one of us came with a problem, and that someone this time is me. Do we have some way to start the clock?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yeah, we
right.
do.
There we go.
I was
All right,
wondering
let's go.
why
It's
Roman-
Biz. You're going to start the clock, right?
Yep. All right.
We're going to talk about something that I know I have feelings on, but I'd be curious to get other people's feelings on, is today's problem to crack is lateness or tardiness.
Oh, wow.
How do we fix solving, let's call it and everything always sounds better when you call it an epidemic. So the lateness epidemic.
The lateness epidemic. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a few stats just to kind of give you a little bit of context. 25% of U.S. workers said they were late to work at least once a month, which seems actually quite low, to be totally honest with you.
Once a month?
Yeah, 12% said they were late weekly. But the numbers are actually a lot scarier and weirder than that, which is that basically everyone is, generally speaking, considered to be on time if it's within 5 to 10 minutes of the start of a meeting, the start of something, the start of an occasion or something like that. So these numbers are a little wishy-washy because there's a built-in sort of 5 to 10 minute pad already. There's something interesting, which is lateness is actually attached to age. Generally speaking, younger people are more likely to be late than older people. I don't think that's a particularly big surprise. A perfect example of this is that 47% of Gen Z respondents considered arriving 5 to 10 minutes late to be on time, while 70% of baby boomers said on time means arriving early. So there is a literal like a
Logical.
generational disconnect on what being on time means.
Is that age or is that like cultural?
There's a cultural thing coming up too, because culture does matter.
Massive.
Lateness is very different in different cultures.
Yeah, totally.
Because I was going to say for America, I think would be the context of this conversation. But the average U.S. worker loses about 35 minutes per week to lateness, which roughly costs about $61 billion nationally. So again,
how do they measure that?
Yeah.
Because it's like,
well, it's pretty
loses,
easy.
what does that mean?
You could
Because
say
if you're late because you were in another meeting, maybe you added value to your other meeting, and so that meeting got more productive and there's more value coming from that.
I don't know the algorithm, but I could say this. Look, I could say this, which is like,
Oh no.
if you could-
Simon, you're in for it.
if you said like someone was late to that meeting, so all of us wasted 5 minutes, there's 3 of us here, that's 15 minutes.
Okay.
Time
Right,
average
I buy
work
that.
per hour.
Okay.
Time salary, you
Buy
get to a
that.
number, right?
Yep.
The other part too about this is that it is basically a productivity killer. It is a relationship killer also, because there's a lot around the fact that showing up late outside of a business context makes people feel anxious. When you're waiting without knowing when something's going to happen, there's an anxiety built into it. And also there's a sense of disrespect. So how do we solve lateness? How do we help people start showing up more likely on time? I have other data. Keep talking.
This
but I
is
can
so
find other
interesting
things.
because when you first said it, I was like, to me, this is worthy of a 20-minute one, like of a 3 problem hour. But now that I unpack it in my brain, I'm like, we're gonna go wide on this one. There's lots to cover. The societal and cultural, the psychological. There's relationship / societal. There's a lot I think that we can cover in this conversation. It should be a fun one.
Yeah. I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think it's gotten worse or better in the era of smartphones, technology, constant communication, or the same?
I have no point of view on this.
I do not know. What do you think?
Same.
I feel like I could argue it either way, but I'm just curious about like sort of our ability to, like you talked about the relationship component, and there's a feeling that because you can just text someone quick, hey, I'm 15 minutes behind, opposed to pre-cell phone, You would have just had that person
You had to be
sitting there
there.
totally
Yeah.
wondering. Like, I don't know if it's gotten worse, better, but I would assume maybe it's gotten worse because of this like false sense of communication that smooths thing over. Right?
Yes.
Even with like Slack now too, right? Like being late, walking into a meeting in
Late.
office and you're 10 minutes late and everyone's sitting there waiting for you is much different than slacking your team on Zoom or whatever
Yeah,
and
you're
being
like, gonna
like,
be late.
yeah,
Can you start
running
without
5
me?
behind, start without me. You know what I mean? That's a different
Different kind of late.
sensation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I wonder if the technology has given us more permission. That was like my first thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I would buy that.
Yeah. We just have like an ops. We
Yeah.
can just, you know,
I would
just
definitely
text.
buy that.
yeah.
Are you-
What's your style?
What? If
Your
I'm,
personal style of tardiness or being on time?
you guys tell me. I think I'm pretty on time
Yeah.
for things that
Yeah.
like I need to be on time.
But like a dinner party?
Yeah. I'm on time.
Yeah.
I get irked when I'm late for that
Yeah.
stuff because
Yeah.
to me it's like a respect thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
Same.
you guys are having me at your house, so you know,
Yeah.
you invited me. Like I really believe in
As a group, I'd say the three of us are pretty on time people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I've gotten, and my wife calls me out on this. Hello. I've gotten really bad with like the last 5 minutes. I try to optimize things so much that I leave right when I'm supposed to leave, but it's actually 5 minutes too late in case the parking spot's not there, in case the
Yeah.
whatever. And I've gotten pretty bad at the 5 minute margin,
Yeah.
which I think is part of like, if you want to be on time, you got to be on time. To me,
Yeah.
5 minutes late is not on time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's cultural things, right?
Yeah.
Like, and there's situational things. Like I have a meeting, a professional meeting, on time's on time. I'm invited at the dinner party. I'm trying not to show up exactly on time.
Yeah, totally.
No.
Yeah.
No. At a dinner party, you
I'm
want to
tr-
give it a little bit of a buffer.
A little bit-
20 of,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and some places you show up a half hour, an hour later.
Totally.
When we have a friend in our group of friends, and we'll see if she listens. She's notoriously, every time we hang out, which is on a very regular basis, we make fun of her for that. Notoriously, she starts prepping in her house at the time she's supposed to be at the destination.
Really?
Yeah, it's incredible.
And she knows that she's doing that?
And she knows it's just like life and the flow and
Yeah.
the kids and blah blah blah. Oh, I'm supposed to be there at 7. Oh, it's 7. Oh, why don't I get ready? They always show up the last ones.
Right.
And I'm not going to say her name, otherwise she's going to say, Roman, that was bullshit. I don't do that anymore. But anyway, some people are like
I got
that,
a ton
right?
of late people in my life. Like I know, famously, if my brother's listening, we were in Toronto, we were making it back for Christmas Eve dinner. So like a big family dinner. And Toronto, Hamilton, Christmas Eve, you can imagine traffic is crazy. And I was like, dude, we're going to be late. And he goes, we got another half hour. And I said to him, I was like, I'll bet you $1,000 right now. If we leave right now, I'll give you $1,000. You don't have to give me back and we'll still be late. And he was like, easiest $1,000 of my life. We were an hour and a half late. And he was so angry.
Did he pay you?
Because he literally like
Yeah.
got into traffic right away. I was like, you knew this was going to be happening.
Yeah.
And this is something, two of the biggest reasons is what you said, which is disconnect for the little things. Like, how long is it going to take me to find my keys? How long is it going to take me to
Yes.
put my shoes on? And then the other big one is what they call time optimism. Like when people
Yes.
say like, oh, I'll just take a shower. It'll take me 5 minutes. And it's like, showers take you 15 minutes. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Those are two of the biggest reasons.
Time optimism. That's
Yeah.
so good. I love it.
Yeah. And it's actually connected. There's some people, like there are actual circumstances, like there's proof that people with ADHD have trouble with time optimism.
Yeah.
They tend to be more
Yeah.
time optimistic and things like that. So there's like other things.
Yeah.
There's like it's like a more complicated thing
Yeah.
than I think people realize. But to your point and what you were talking about with your friend, I also have people in my life who literally like are always late and don't like, they will tell me like, oh, we're getting better at it. I'm like, I've known you for decades and you are not getting better at this. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they don't know how to get better at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I think is happening? I'm going to tell you what I think.
Tell us what you think. That's what this is for.
No, I think that there is a false sense of busyness happening in our lives because we have less nothingness time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So our energy and our time is always filled with something
Yes.
in a way that is new to us in the last, I would say even
10 years.
5 years. Like really, like it is filled with content. It is filled with messages from work. It is filled with, so even if you look at a calendar and you say, you're not really that busy, it feels like we're so busy that we're rushing around, that we don't have time. And I wonder if that contributes to this feeling of like, I don't know, always being 5-10 minutes behind. You're like, you're energetically, you're doing something, even if you're not really doing something. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
It puts like a pressure
It's
on
really
it.
smart.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
You're a smart
Like
person.
Thanks. Yeah.
That's a good call. You're right, though. Because
No,
I
but
think
it's a spiritual feeling in the air. You know what I mean?
It is. Yeah. It's like we're filling up this time that we don't need to with things that make us feel busy. So then we're in a rush. So then we're late because we got too many things to do.
Yeah.
And it's like this totally self-perpetuation of,
there is.
you know what I mean?
That's true.
I catch myself doing it.
Totally.
Where I'm like, I'm too busy this week to go get like a beer with that person. And then you look at the calendar and you're like, I think I could have gotten a beer with that person.
Or
do you know what I mean?
Like what I do is I'm like, I got to shoot off this text before I like go meet someone. And I'm like, I didn't.
No.
That I did not just need to shoot that text off. You know what I mean? Like it's probably to one of you being like, that was crazy, right? Or something like, you know what I mean? Like it was like something like that. Like,
I've been on the receiving end of that.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And it's like, why did I feel like I needed to send that?
Like 6:37 p.m.
But there's also like, I mean, there's obviously lots of personality things, and I think, I think many people who are like always late. If I think about those people around me in my life, they're usually they're genuinely nice people.
Yeah.
And I think
like they're not doing it out of maliciousness.
Yes. Yeah. And they're usually, some people are just profoundly just nice people. Mm-hmm. And the people who are like profoundly nice have a tendency to struggle to say no to anything. Or to stop a conversation, or to stop something. And so they get caught in the swirl of not really. Have you ever been in a meeting that never ends?
Yeah.
It's so funny to watch. I'm usually the one who's like, all right, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
But if you're in a room with people who cannot stop things, could go on forever.
Just goes on forever.
It could go on forever.
Yeah.
Everybody knows they're late, but no one is not daring. No one. Everybody is a bit of afraid to ruffle feathers or to offend someone by stopping the flow of the conversation or anything like that. And that could happen in your personal life. Yeah. And then if you start the swirl at 8:30 a.m., then you're done when you get to dinner for your friends at 7 p.m.
It's just a domino effect all day.
So there's a personality trait, I think, that like.
So you're saying to solve lateness, people should not be as nice.
They should be dicks.
Oh my God.
That's good.
Yeah.
That would work.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of society we're creating, but that would work.
No, you don't have to be a dick, but you could say, hey, sorry, I got to go in 5.
Well, no. Okay, but let's talk about that for a second. Like, should
boundaries,
should there be more consequences to being late? Would that help people be more on time?
Again, the fear and threat culture kind of
thing. Yeah. And I think I think you can make an argument, perhaps, and I shouldn't make this argument because I don't know for sure, that that's part of the cultural kind of interpretation of lateness too, right? Like I read a note that people they did a study of Pakistan and the Netherlands, and in Pakistan, to show up to an event, it was considered culturally appropriate to be 19 minutes late. That's fine. Whereas in the Netherlands, it was 10 minutes late. So there's like literally like a 100% jump basically from Netherlands to thing. And I imagine that's because of the cultural permission to be late in each of those places. You know what I mean?
And the perception to be on time also.
Exactly.
I think comes with like a negative thing. Because maybe it's, oh, you didn't leave me enough time to prep for my thing.
Right.
So maybe there could be so many, but yes, like.
And do you think it's because, to your point, Pakistan is a friendlier culture than the Netherlands?
I think you should. I think you should say that you're Dutch, because otherwise we're gonna have hate letters, which is true. Simon is part Dutch.
I'm part Dutch.
He's not hating on other people.
No,
I don't know.
And
No,
I
but-
don't,
but
and for the record, I
it's an
don't think it's the
interesting-
friendliest culture
No.
in the world either. Like,
Yeah.
So
It's an interesting observation.
Yeah.
Like, does that almost leads to the original question of should there be like a consequence, like a negative consequence? I would say no, right?
right,
Because shame,
being in fear of being late all the time.
I think shame or fear can be like an immediate motivation, but I don't think it's a long-term
Yeah, that's
motivation.
true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you see that even from like productivity at companies.
Yeah.
That sure,
Oh, man, yeah.
like quarter by quarter, inciting fear or like shame or like lowering people may like rile up some motivation, but over time, those employees are actually
Culture,
going
boom.
to
So
drop
positive
in
reinforcement.
productivity.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, positive
you
consequence.
show up more on time, you get on-time points, which you can redeem for sweet prizes at the end of the year.
rewards. Yeah.
Yeah.
More free beers at the holiday party.
But
Yeah.
what is time?
Oh man! Wow.
No, that's not my question. Even
I
though
mean, I can get into
even
that.
though I would love
Yeah.
business perspective,
man.
you probably studied it at some point.
I think about it,
Oh man.
but we don't need to go there.
Let me ask a related question. You know how some companies are like hyper liberal about everything, right?
Yeah.
Everything's open. All the salaries are open.
Yeah. They're getting fewer and further between.
Yes,
nowadays.
Yeah,
yes. But
that's-
there used to be that trend
Yes.
of like all openness. Has
Yeah.
there ever been a company that had like no time rules? No,
In
do you
what
see what I mean?
way?
And no, I don't know. Like
You can't book meetings because you just
Ye-
meet people when you meet people.
yeah, there's no meetings. There's no work hours. There's no.
I bet you there has been.
Probably
I
somewhere.
guarantee you.
Probably somewhere in Northern California.
Yeah,
if it's
100%.
existed.
100%.
But
But
because
you're right.
I would be curious to see what that experiment looks like. I think
Yeah.
given a company in a capitalistic society is supposed to be productive,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then I think it would probably be a disaster.
Totally.
That's just
I
my
agree.
assumption.
I agree
right?
too.
You'd probably need to shift the whole purpose of your quote unquote company.
Yeah. Because go ahead.
Well, I was just say, I mean, there can be a fluid conversation between two of them, right? Where like, for instance, when I first started in advertising, the creative directors would roll in whenever they wanted. They didn't have to be there.
Were
at
they
8.
hacks?
What? We don't we don't need to get into that. I'm friends with everybody. But but like they were there for the meetings they had to be there for.
Yeah.
But there was a sense of like because you need to think because maybe you were working late at
Yes.
night. Like
Yeah.
we trust you with the rest of your time. And I buy that. Like there are fixed things that you have to be on time for,
Yes.
but the rest of it, you are an adult. Like we trust
agree
you
with
to do
that
your
too.
work. I think you guys are good at like that sort of sense
Yeah.
too. Like,
Yeah.
and I think you kind of need both, right, in order for it to work. Like a little bit of like shared accountability, and then the rest is
Yeah.
like some space for you to determine that. But that's like in the work
And
environment.
that's what
yeah.
I wanted to get to.
Yeah.
Thanks for saying this because I think it's a constraint. Like whatever format frame you put it in, time is a constraint, right? So if you're in a business, and most businesses, if not all, need at some point some thinking if you want to move the business forward, whatever it is, right? Whether you're in finance, in construction, or in creativity, you still need some creativity to move the business forward, and you can't just operate on constraint. You do need constraints, right? We talked about creativity and constraints and the relationship between the hyper creative people being the ones who require more constraints, but there needs to be some level of, and so that I think we're just throwing a little added layer of complexity in the conversation because you kind of need to find a bit of like looseness with the time rules if you want the world to move forward.
I don't
Maybe.
think you do though. I
Okay.
think like
Okay.
for example, because I agree with you. I think like what we're saying is, and I think what you're saying to some degree is like lateness is always going to be a function of a place that requires respect for the constraints and the resources, right? Like it's going to be like people, like it's always going to be something you're going to have to deal with to some degree, but you just want to try and minimize it because you can never have just a floppy sort of like you can't be late in a world where you don't need to be anywhere on time. Like that doesn't work. You know what I mean? But like, let me just go very basic for a second. What if instead of, for example, like what if instead of meetings allotted certain times, like we're going to have an hour-long meeting, you just had start times. And then it was like the meeting ends whenever it ends, and that allows you to get more time at the end of the meeting to get to your next meeting, and then you're in charge of getting to your next meeting in time for your next meeting. That's a dumb idea. But I'm just saying, like, there's different ways to think about when to show up and how to show up.
Yeah.
Or what if
I don't think I'm following in your example.
Or what if you put a reminder? What if every reminder in your calendar came with a reminder of 20 minutes before it to leave for the meeting? Do you know what I mean? Like, very dumb, simple things that I'm just
optimization tactics.
Optimization tactics.
I mean, I've worked at places where the meetings always had to end 5 or 10 minutes before.
Right. That's
so that
an
people
example.
had just a second. You
We
know what I mean?
tried that in our previous company at some point. It never
Didn't
worked.
work.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
No.
Didn't work.
But that company also had a problem with half-hour meetings that should have been hour-long meetings and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I think that's generally there's a problem in not just in that company. There's a problem I think everywhere in work and culture about that. I think it's pretty hard to gauge. I actually think I've
how long a meeting should be.
Yes.
Yeah. I can see that.
And some companies, you know, like hyper productive tech, like they're like, okay, some leaders say every single meeting is going to be 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. And then they set up probably a couple like hour-long or 2-hour-long meetings for like big board things, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But they're like all the internal meetings, 15 minutes stand up.
That's
standing up, which I actually think the standing up is a good idea. But the 15 minutes, how do you gauge whether that conversation, if it's a one-on-one, okay. Yeah, I can probably, I'm like, if the agenda is clear, I'm like, yeah, I can probably gauge.
We're going to run out of stuff.
If you bring in, the more perspectives you bring in, the more unknown there's going to be.
Yeah.
Like,
especially when it's like multiple people showing work and stuff like that. Like, you just don't know. You know what I mean? But we're talking about the business. I don't want to jump from business, but
meeting culture is a big one. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
There's something interesting also if we move to the personal side, and you said this, and it's true, which is there's something interesting about the fact that, like, if someone says I'm having a party at 7, no one shows up at 7. How would you ever build a world where it's like, show up at this time and I mean it, and please show up at that time?
I think you have to say it.
Because, like, and do you think people would still do it, or they'd be like, well, what they mean is show up?
I think the one who have the ability, I think many people show up 15 minutes late by design.
Yeah.
So they would design it to be the one who are like just chronically late wouldn't.
Yeah.
But if you put on your flyer, it's at 7 p.m. sharp, we mean it. We actually want you to show up at 7 p.m.
People do.
You think that would do it?
I think some people would.
Yeah. Because we have like a lot of dinner parties and stuff, and we know that we actually like account for, there's like a tier of friends, right? We know the ones that are gonna be there 10 minutes early, and you're like, fuck, like I'm taking a shit, like I don't like you're not supposed to be here yet, you know. And then you have the friends that like are half an hour late, you know, that's like pretty standard. They don't want to be the first people, but they're still polite. And then you have the friends that are like 2 hours late, and you're like, dude, the party's over. So like there's always like an optimization to like figure out the sweet time for all of them. And then I'll always text the friends that are like early, and I'm like, look, the flyer says 7, but like, please, it's 7:30, it's 8.
It's not 6:30.
Yeah. But I actually think that to me, that there's like the cultural different understanding of when is late.
Yeah.
And then there's this like party notion too of like, it says 7, you show up at 7:30. To me, that's kind of actually like the same relationship between what I was talking about with like the creative directors of fixed versus like free time. Like, I think there needs to be some shared understanding of it's up to your own interpretation of when you show up. And there needs to be like a threshold on that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think to assume that everyone is always going to be following the rules to a T, I think is like, we misunderstand
and society
human
would be
nature.
Boring.
Yeah. So like I like this notion of like each culture, whether that's by country or it's smaller than that,
subcultures,
has an understanding of what is
scenes,
okay, you know, because I think different people show up for different reasons, and that's good, you know. Like, you kind of need the staggering of people. And you need the nice person who's like charismatic to like be energized when they show up an hour late, you know, because then that person always walks in the party of all the the people that were there on time and extra boring, and they like light up the room, and you need almost that entrance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
You need to know your role.
yeah.
And then show up for the time where it's appropriate for your role.
But I don't know. I think there's at odds though, personal versus
I agree.
versus
I think it's different.
work, and that's tough.
Yeah.
You know?
And parties, even when personal, parties are different than a date, different than a friend hangout.
Yeah.
Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
totally. It's all
All
different.
of them
Yeah.
have sort of different unspoken rules and
Yeah.
different moments where you feel slighted.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like to your point with the
Yeah.
party thing, if someone doesn't show up after an hour, but then they get there eventually and they're a great time, water under the bridge. You don't
Yeah.
even think about it, right?
Yeah.
If I was stuck waiting for a friend to have a beer with for an hour, I'd be like, what the hell, man? You know what I mean? Like it's like completely different circumstances.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
But there's that, like in the workplace, there's that almost is like a reverse buffer of the like 10-minute meetings
Yeah.
end 5-10 minutes before. It's almost like I don't know how to describe it, but it's a reverse time for people to kind of have that moment before
Yeah.
they come. Do you know what I mean?
I think also like I go back to what you said too about just like a place of negativity isn't going to be the place to solve it. And it actually made me think a little bit more about work culture, which is like at the end of the day, if you don't like your job, you're just going to be more late.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're just sort of like not going to be caring as at least
I don't know.
Or
You don't think so?
or performing busyness too, which
performative
Yeah.
we've all worked
busyness.
with those people that are like, I'm 10 minutes late. Sorry, it's a crazy day. Like I've been doing XYZ. What are we talking about? And you're like,
Don't do that. Don't do
but
that.
like that's a thing too, you know.
Yeah.
That's like an archetype in work culture where they're just
I
like
hate that so
they're
much.
like a hustler, you know.
Oh yeah.
And that has like its own social
Yeah,
status though.
like, I can't work by these rules because I got too much going on, sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm independent of you plebes because I'm
So
rising
busy.
above and I'm so busy.
Yeah.
It's almost interesting to think about the social status
Of being late.
of being late. Sometimes
Well, I
it's
think some
a
people
social
do
status.
use it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Sorry, I'm late.
Absolutely.
Wow.
so busy.
If I told you, anyways, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
No, but like even some people use it without flex. Like the biggest flex
Power move. Yeah.
is I've been there
Yeah.
many times.
Yeah.
You show up in business meetings and then they have you wait for
Yeah.
a long time. It's a tactic used in like
Really?
the most aggressive of all business
Yes.
environments, which is like big retail negotiations. Like
Yeah.
if you're like a small brand with your protein bar and you show up to negotiate at Walmart, there's a high chance you're gonna wait. Like in France, that culture is now, there's been some rules and they stopped doing some things, but there's some stories, crazy stories, where they show up, they wait all day, the people don't show up.
Really?
They have to come back the following day, people just don't show up. Third day, they give them half an hour.
Power
And that's how like they just show who's got the power so that when the negotiations start, it's really clear who's got the upper hand. Like it wasn't clear. Of course it's clear.
Yeah.
When a protein
No,
bar
yeah,
makes like
exactly. I'm trying to get on your
$100,000
aisles.
and you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
but it is like time is used as a
Totally.
as a weapon for sure.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
sucks.
And and you can do it even like the party stance too, right? Like we're talking about that
Yeah.
all in like good vibes, but if you want to be a dick, you can show up super late and it's almost like you're apathetic, right?
Yeah.
To that person.
Yeah.
There's a lot of respect signaling and stuff like that. How much you think people matter, all that sort of stuff in showing up on time versus showing up on late. I think the thing I'm trying to figure out is like, or what we're trying to talk about here too, is like, it's funny when you start to think about this topic, how different the rules are all over the place, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, there isn't sort of like, oh, all we need is this app and it would fix everything for
Yeah.
the world, because there's so many little like nuances we pick up about our relationship to lateness that it's like, oh, do I want to signal that I was too excited to get there and get there too early? Do I want to signal that I didn't care at all and I'm flippant and I got there late? Like everything, it's like this weird use of time creatively, but then also there's sort of like the built-in cultural rules. And then also there's the like, do I actually want to be there? Is this going to be fun of it all? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to unpack there. I still don't know if we're any bit closer to how we're going to fix it.
No, maybe we need to get the box a little tighter.
Yeah.
Do we want to focus on business?
Exactly. If we
Yeah.
have to focus on one of them, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna fix how do we make people more on time for business?
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause
That's
it's a-
going to enable, sorry, go ahead.
It's a tighter outcome
Yeah.
or like metric, which
Yeah.
is because of productivity,
Exactly.
right? Like, is that sort of the main?
Let's assume we are in service of
'cause
trying to help productivity.
We're going to be able to go tactical.
Because
by the end,
personally,
for
I
sure.
get I'm like, well,
What is time?
what is time? Yeah, and like who cares?
Yeah.
And maybe we all need to be, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, take a shroom gummy, like whatever. Like, I'll see you in an hour. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Take your
but-
watch off. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what? That's weird that you think time.
Yeah.
But
'Cause-
with work, it is sort of fixed, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's tied to more tangible, like reasoning of why we
Yeah.
need to be
Yeah.
more on time.
I have one take. Feel free to agree with me or disagree with me. Reducing the friction to getting on time isn't going to help, because I think that we just went through the craziest moment in our lives, where in the history of work for a long time, where people no longer even had to get out of their sweatpants and get out of their house and could still just like walk over to a computer, turn it on and be in a meeting. And I don't get the impression that that was an incredibly like revolution in punctuality. Like I get the impression people were just as late as they had always been. So I don't think removing friction actually helps. Do we agree or disagree there?
Yeah, I never thought of it. I think I agree. I think
Yeah, I
friction
agree.
could- yeah.
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 It's not we don't need any more convenience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you could do the opposite of the fear and shame, is more like the gamifying and gaining from succeeding.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's
Yeah.
like we always come down, when we get tactical, you come down to two strategies.
Gamifying.
Either make it hot or gamify it.
Yeah.
This one's
Yeah.
probably more going to be about gamifying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could you make on time sexy?
Yeah. Absence of Jesse not being here. I'm like, like,
No, I don't
how
know
do we make
that.
it hot? I don't know. I don't know.
Exactly.
I mean, part of it both a reward, but also like metaphorically making it hot, I think is like company values, right?
Yeah.
Which is like if they are rooted in rewarding, like just respect and like I would say like a baseline. Yeah, I guess just respect, understanding of the other person, a little bit of empathy. Then suddenly that's a culture where continuously being 10, 15 minutes late for a meeting is like rude. It stands out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd have to almost like, that's soft, but like embed it into the culture of respect. Yeah.
If there's one thing I've seen researching this even a little bit, it is that like lateness is inherently, it has a very specific relationship to every culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so like when you say like you need to build a culture of not being late, I'm like, yeah, totally agree.
Great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It is that. I don't know. I think what I'm trying to figure out still is like, how the hell do you do it? I don't have a good answer on this one. Like this one is like a real stumper for me, because even when I start getting to the practical stuff, like I'm like, oh, let's reward people like with on time points. And then at the end of the year, you get on time points and you can redeem them for stuff. I'm like, I still don't know if that would work.
But I mean, if we keep it to business,
let's keep it there.
all about the culture of the company.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
It's where Biz was getting at. And you were talking about the values, you can talk about the habits, the values on one side and customs on the other. And the customs, if the people at the top show up on time at every single meeting, people are going to show up on time, generally speaking.
Yep.
And if one of your desired habits in your company is for people to show up on time, you should probably make sure there's 10 minutes between meetings so that people can go to the bathroom and make a cup of tea, because that's something that they need at some point in their lives. So you can, but if I can guarantee you, if the CEO of a public company is on time at every single meeting, I think that company has a higher propensity to have on-time meetings.
That's a great one.
Than the one that doesn't.
Setting the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love what you just said. So it's basically like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to design a corporate culture, and the corporate culture, part and parcel to it, is it's going to be like basically everyone at the highest level. We're going to do everything in our power to ensure that they're as punctual as possible. So it's less reducing. It's less like it's just making it fully functional for them. So what does that mean? That means that scheduled in is going to be like a 15-minute break every 2 hours, just to like use the bathroom, get a coffee, get your bearings, sort of thing. There's going to be this amount of time for lunch, this amount of time for this. I think that's actually like really smart, because if you see that signaling from the top, you're going to start trying to replicate it.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I'm going to gonna call you out in a good way. I saw actually you do this at our old company, where like busy day of meetings, everyone was kind of feeling that. Everyone starts the meeting, you get in there, you say hello, but then it's like, should we just take 5 minutes and I'll go get a cup of tea or something real quick and then start? So it's still like even if everyone needs a second and it's back to back, you're still on time, you're greeting, and then it's a collective sort of like mini break before the meeting starts. And I think things like that can be really helpful too. You know,
hey, we're here. Everybody's here. We all need to live.
Looking you in the eyes. Yeah. I think it's stuff like that is helpful too. But again, that comes from the top, you know, it comes from leadership.
It's, you know, back to what you're saying, Biz, what you were saying, Simon, you know, if we get tactical, I was blown away the first time I moved my first year in America at how a lunch break does not exist.
Yeah.
Right. The first time I saw someone book time on my calendar from 12:30 to 1, I was like, wait, I can't have lunch because I'm French and people have lunch for like way too long. But I think a 30-minute break in the middle of your day when you're hungry and actually,
I agree.
And actually eating is going to make you think better.
Yeah, totally.
And feel better in your afternoon should kind of be like part of a company culture.
Yeah.
It gets very complicated when your company is business across different time zones. It does. I think we're experiencing it firsthand. But like that not only is good psychologically, biologically, but also is just a good reset of the clock.
Yeah.
Right? When people tend to be late, suddenly if you have a break for everyone at 30 minutes, then the clock starts again from zero.
Totally.
So to your point about you got to do a reset every 2 hours or every hour, you know, have a reset that's actually going to be useful for people's health and
there's a
thinking.
There's a throwback to our vacation episode, which is like time off is actually leads to massive productivity.
Yeah.
And there's kind of like a similar thread here, which is like, you know, little breaks lead to the better chance for punctuality and frankly, like optimizing the time you do have. You know what I mean?
So then that's it.
So
That's what your messaging is.
Force time off every day.
That's what the messaging is like by giving people time not working, you're going to make your company more productive. It's the same message as vacation, to your point, but in a way that's applied to the day-to-day.
How is it at those, like I'm thinking about like a Google campus where there's, you know, the huge cafeteria and stuff like that. Is there, I wonder at places like that where lunch is really more of a thing, are people having more lunch together? Is it like truly time off? Like I just wonder if stuff like that also helps with some of this management too.
I've never worked there, but I've witnessed it. My understanding of it, again, never been an insider at Meta or Google or anywhere like that. It's there, but it's not in the culture to tell you to go between 12:30 and 2.
No,
it's like, you're booked, you're busy. Sorry.
Yeah.
If you find 5 minutes to run to the cafeteria, good for you. Like this is more what I've witnessed, but maybe I'm off.
Maybe it becomes almost more of a, to your point, Simon, like a convenience thing that actually makes people more busy and more late because it's right there, right? It's less of a friction. You know what I mean?
There was like a funny thing in when I was way back in the day when I was back like in university and there was all these tech companies trying to recruit us. There was this thing where like whenever they came in and were like, we got a stocked bar, we got a kitchen, we got
ping pong table.
It basically was like a giant flashing signal that it's like, you're going to work 18 hours a day. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like it was like, it didn't tell people, they thought it said one thing and it said the complete opposite thing.
Totally.
You know, it turned out to be true.
Yeah.
The other thing that came to mind was like talking about optimizing your day, like mornings not being meeting times but work time. Like I think too often mornings become meeting times because there's an urgency, right? Like we gotta all talk about this and get it done. But the best work time, like thinking time, Like true work time is in the morning.
I don't know if that helps punctuality though.
No, I don't think so.
Well,
I think it
when
helps
we-
work. I
but
don't
when we-
disagree with you there.
And I don't
When we
know.
talk
I have
about,
a
like,
counter argument for it.
overall though, like sort of having the right sort of time designated throughout the day for certain things, I think does allow you to be a little less frantic. Like when my meetings are all over the place and I only have a half an hour here to
Totally
work,
agree.
and then I have a meeting, and then I have half an hour,
Yes.
and then I skip lunch, and then like there's just a craziness that's happening opposed to a blocked off time in the morning, work time, lunch, meeting,
I think
meeting,
concentration of meetings is a good idea.
Yeah.
Is what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Concentrate.
Yeah.
I
Did we
think that-
try that
I
at
think-
the last place?
I think the morning and afternoon thing, it's actually very personal. Some people are like afternoon thinkers. Some people are evening thinkers. Some people are morning thinkers. That's my first counter argument. The second one is not all meetings are not useful. And
No.
so if you're a
No.
morning thinker,
Yeah.
I'm going to book a meeting in the morning
Right.
because I want your thinking head in
Right.
the meeting
Fair.
to make that. So
Yeah.
it gets to even more slicing up of the meetings. What's more of a project management and status like, and what's an actual thinking and building meeting. These go in the more like,
Yeah.
it's feasible, but complex.
I definitely worked at a place that had like a certain chunk of the day set as meeting times where you couldn't book meetings outside of those times. I don't think it was the last place, but I remember that, and I remember it fell apart very quickly.
Yeah.
There's-
Well,
there's-
it's just too tough. There's too many variables and too
We're
many
also
people.
in an industry service business is
Yeah,
really
exactly.
hard.
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
many things that are out of our
Yeah.
control. But the big companies, a lot like I think Netflix has a no Friday
Meetings?
meetings policy. I think.
Really?
I think. Yeah. Like no Friday meetings unless it's like urgent
Like a
one-on-one
comet's
booked out on
hitting
my
the Earth?
calendar. But
Yeah.
I don't think they'll have like 10 people brainstorming about something.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe
that
it's not Netflix, maybe it's another one, but one of those big ones.
it
Yeah.
makes sense for a huge
Yeah.
company organization to do that. You know what I mean? Versus like smaller ones, I think. But
Yeah.
But what's interesting, Netflix has that thing that's pretty famous. I think they call it freedom and responsibility,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which is like
You're an adult.
You're an adult
Yeah.
across many, many, many different things, all layers of seniority, and that could apply to being on time. But it applies to, for example, what you're gonna expense or not.
Yeah.
I don't even think they have an expense policy. Don't quote me, but
Yeah.
close to not having one. It's like if you're supposed to travel for a meeting in London, you decide whether you're gonna book a business class flight or an economy class flight.
Right.
You're the one who decides, and it's up to you to feel good about. If someone asks, someone may ask, someone may not, about like what you're going to say about it. And if you feel
Yeah.
good about it and it makes sense, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
It's the same thing could be applied to tardiness, meaning there's no rule, but we are gonna watch.
Explain that. Okay. So wait, let's explain that because it sounds terrifying but interesting.
Well,
So is it like I'm going to have a meeting at 5 and I might show up at 5:05 because I feel like that's the right thing to do, and so ergo it is okay?
Yeah, or it is like, it's your responsibility to show up whenever you want, and we don't care, or at least we
that's
pretend,
interesting.
or at least we pretend we don't.
Okay, so like let's pretend I have a big presentation an internal presentation to you two.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I'm going to start it at 3.
yeah,
I'm going to end it at 3:30. Hopefully you're there. If not, I'm not repeating it for you and we're good.
yeah. There's a bit of that.
yeah. You're kind
It's
of
interesting.
talking, it reminds me of parenting too. I mean, you guys tell me, but it's like the classic with teenagers. It's like, look, here's the information you need to know about drinking and partying. You are going to do what you're going to do, but here's the knowledge, and then it's in your hands. And like, it's kind of like that,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
on
that's
like a
it.
more
That's
adult
it.
level, right?
Yeah, that's
It's
it.
like, I'm not saying you're not going to get in trouble if you come home wasted, but like it's still, you're going to do what you have to do,
Yeah.
right? And like, and also like the consequence changes based on the circumstance too.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's sort of like the unspoken relationship between people. But I also feel like trust everywhere is always like a positive return. Do
I
you know
mean,
what
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I agree.
and like autonomy. That's
That-
always like a
and that's,
positive
like, part of
return.
it,
The
too, is
opposite
like-
of the
Yeah.
like
of
if
the
you
threat culture.
if you like it's like one of those like I can tell I'm starting to get old because I say things like what I'm about to say, which is like if someone shows up and they're on time and they can talk to you, I'm like, I like this person, just as a rule. And if people like you, you got a better job of getting ahead in your career.
A better chance. Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like you get a better chance, excuse me. And it is like stuff like that like low key goes a long way that I don't always know if people realize.
Good hangs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good hangs.
Yeah.
Goes back to good
Show
hangs.
up on time, be cool.
Yeah.
You know what I
be a
mean?
good hang, you know.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
But it is like something I'm starting to notice as I get older, especially because when someone does it that's younger and they can do that, it really stands out to me. I'm always very impressed by it.
Yeah. Well, it kind of goes back to like, to that point, you can be 5 minutes late and be apologetic and then be a good hang and be efficient. And there are people, I mean, it's kind of it was Pakistan versus the Netherlands.
Yeah.
You can show up 5 minutes before and be a terrible hang.
Totally.
And like, which one is worse? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like if we're starting to add the quantity of time versus hang level.
This has nothing to do with the subject, I think.
I don't think so.
I think we're back to the good
No,
hang
but all I was
subject.
trying to get back to was what I was trying to kind of like see if there was an opportunity was like, is there a way in saying if you want to get ahead in your career, be on time and start to implement that in some sort of way to help
courtesy.
force people
That is
getting on
respect.
time.
that is actually a very old man piece of
Totally.
advice that's
I know.
existed since like
I know.
but it's
You know what I mean?
true.
Yeah.
No,
if
that's
you want to
true.
get ahead in your career, be on time.
Yeah.
It's something
Yeah.
a granddad
Respect.
would say.
Yeah.
But
again,
it's true.
People, it's
Yeah.
a tale as old as time. It
Yeah.
hasn't changed shit. So
Exactly.
let's move on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So where are
Same war stories?
I
and
know exactly. I'm
advice.
like, anytime I hear myself,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I used to be like, whatever, man. And now I'm like, that guy, it sucks so bad.
It's good.
But where are we? Have we figured this out yet? I like the idea of
No.
systemizing it from the top down. Because I do think that it is like you lead by example. And if people are seeing that the executives or whoever our leadership are showing up on time, chances are they're going to show up on time because they understand that's the operating system of that place. And you need to do that in order to succeed in that place.
Yeah. I also think it's about an organization having respect for your time too, which is why I liked the lunch conversation.
Yes, I think that's smart.
Because the times where I have maybe personally been the most late for meetings over and over again is because I know I'm also going to be working until midnight every night.
I agree.
So there's just this feeling of like, well, this thing doesn't respect me, so I'm not going to respect it.
Yes.
And it becomes very depersonalized and weird at that point. And it's suddenly not about another person sitting across a meeting from you, but it's you versus a corporate entity. So I also think it's about like enough of the company respecting vacation, respecting lunches, like respecting your time that you want to give it back too. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And I think all of those
mutual
policies
respect, that's interesting.
play an important role.
I definitely had
So I'm just
bosses
thinking
who
of
were
my
like,
own life,
He's
you
not
know
going
what
to
I
check
mean?
anything until 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So what am I doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
like I remember that for sure.
Yeah, and you're so overworked consistently that you just time, even if it's subconscious, it just becomes something to not follow because all the days are blending together anyway, and no one's respecting it. You know?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess we've talked about it, but like vacation, lunch,
Yeah.
whatever
all
else,
all of that.
all the themes that
is important.
they seem so dumb, but are so
They
important.
are weirdly important.
They're so important.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any tools or apps or technology we could create to make people more on time?
Didn't you?
Here we go. You're going to say something crazy.
No, it's just dumb. You remember the conversation about the taboo buzzer?
Yeah.
Yeah, bring it.
But what if someone shows up late, you go bang,
Shame.
No, when the thing is supposed to end, you bang,
and then you all walk out.
and then you all walk out. It's like 10 minutes before the hour.
Oh my god.
And then
Just to
everybody
end it.
walks out. All right, meeting adjourned.
I want to go back to something you said a while ago, which is interesting now that I think about it a little bit more, and it's been sort of marinating in the back of my head, is that idea of like, we now live in a world where you can text and be like, sorry, I'm going to be 5 late sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that like permission of being able to be late, but not be late at the same time because
Yes.
you're calling out the fact that you're going to be late
Yeah.
and the effect that that's had on people. I think that's shitty.
Yeah. Well, it's the biggest like so I'm not trying to offend you, but You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like this like
yeah.
S like and yes or whatever. What
But
is
like
that?
at least I told
yeah.
you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just this like instant permission.
Yeah, but it's better than for the chronically late people not being able to
That's true.
give a heads up.
No, I'm not saying it's about like
Right?
we
It's
all
like-
we all do it and we all have to.
No, but
it's
even
just, yeah.
chronically late people who were late before phones existed, they would just show up half an hour late. Now they show up half an hour late, but they tell you 5 minutes in. So you know what to do for the next 25 minutes.
If
You make a phone call. You
Yeah.
you just enjoy time because
Yeah.
for the first time in a few days, you have 25 minutes of doing nothing.
yeah.
Whatever.
Do you
You're not-
have certain meetings in your that you're more likely to show up early to, and others that you're more likely to show up late to?
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
So which ones are you more likely to
It's
show
the-
up
it's
early
the
to? The ones with
stakes.
me, right?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
always there,
Sure.
like just
Yes. Yours
fixing my hair before
15
you
minutes
join.
early.
Perfect.
I booked a half hour before
Good.
to make sure
I
I'm
can
not
feel
late
that
on
energy.
Zoom.
I really
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
you all
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah.
I mean, we do it
Yeah.
every week together. We tend to put more emphasis on our client meetings
I totally agree.
to not show up late.
Yeah.
When we're in person, plus the fiasco that is checking in corporate buildings today,
Yeah.
we show up a half hour early now,
Yeah, I know.
like literally. And sometimes we're late just because they can't check us in, right? But it's not our fault.
Yeah.
So, but we show up a half hour early. When it's
Yeah.
on Zoom and we have an internal meeting before, we stop like 2 minutes before so that people can do and we. So yes, a short answer is yes for sure. That and the other one I would name personally is certain doctors, because I know if you show up late, then you get to the bottom of the queue. But if you're like here on time,
Yeah.
you're on time, so you're next, right?
Yeah.
And so you're like, being on time is going to help you spend less time there. So, there's certain doctors too where you're like, oh, I'm not showing up late to that one.
It's really funny because you're right but with the one you're talking about, like I don't see when we are a little looser with our own time that as necessarily a sign of disrespect.
No.
It's more of a
No.
sign of just like, okay, the shoulders are dropped a little.
Yeah.
I'm among
Yeah.
my people.
Trusted peers.
We're
Well,
just
yeah.
we're just shooting the shit. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Not shooting the
totally.
shit a lot.
No,
we're
no,
doing
I hear
work,
you.
but like it becomes
Totally.
a little more.
Well, there's
Yeah,
sort of
already
thing.
a foundation of respect there.
Yeah.
You're not
Exactly.
breaking, but
Yeah.
I think in bigger companies, like it's a little blurry, you know?
Yeah.
But I at the beginning, I shut down negative consequence because of shame. But I think there's some gray areas, you know? Like
You think there should be?
not, I don't think it should cause shame. I think that's a
Yeah.
bad feeling
Yeah.
at work. But maybe there are some forms of consequence. I don't know what this means for work, but I think about now, if you are late or don't make a reservation for a restaurant, they'll charge you. Do you know that? Like through Resi, like you can be
Yeah.
charged $50 a person.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Or like a kind of with the doctors or things like that. Like you can be charged like hundreds of dollars if you don't show up on time. Is there some? I don't have the answer, but is there some form of that
I don't think it
in
would
work
work.
culture?
You know why? It's because bosses would be late a lot and then they'd just cancel it.
Yeah, and then they'd be like, "This who
I'm
wrote
not
this
doing that.
policy?
I'm not doing that. We're
Yeah,
not doing that
yeah,
anymore.
It's true. It's
Like
true.
the late jar.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That probably exists somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is it? It's kind of what you're saying though. With like this is the meeting time, and however much of it you show up to, that's it. You know.
Yeah.
Like, and I think this stuff though, when we talk about,
We all know it doesn't work that way.
it's all loose though when we're talking about a smaller company. But what about the big ones where there's?
We all know it doesn't
like-
work that way.
I don't know
Yeah.
though.
No, because like the big ones have to reach productivity, they have to follow a certain process. That
Yeah.
process generally entails having the highest paid, most senior person to make the final decision. Meaning, if they're supposed to be in a meeting and they don't show up, that meeting is useless. So they have, and people know.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's happened to us. You show up at a client meeting, the big client is late for whatever reason. They have plenty of good reasons. And some of the people are conscious that it's not even worth starting the meeting, which I understand.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that.
Yeah,
There's
but-
certain meetings where you're like, you can't start this one because without big person's approval, that thing's not, worthy of anyone's time.
Yeah, but you guys are talking. What about dividing it by classes within the work system?
Oh, people would
right?
love that. That always goes
Yeah.
That's gonna go well.
No, but I think some people, there are sort of like thresholds where it makes sense, but there are tech work environments that are very strict about their time.
Yeah.
And about what entails a meeting and what is defined as a productive meeting.
Yeah.
And of course, there are moments where it's like if someone through a threshold of being able to approve something can't make it more senior, of course, right?
Yeah.
That's just like a system of community. But on the day-to-day among your peers, it can get really strict. And I'm not saying that's a good thing, but it does sort of like enhance their definition of productivity in that moment, defining what you can bring to a meeting on time, not on time. Like, so it does exist. What?
Have you had any experience with that?
Personally, no.
Yeah.
But I've heard of people that have worked at these places, where it's like,
it's quite common in tech.
it's super strict. Yeah.
Didn't
I mean, my
Basecamp
brother
have some
works at a place like
crazy,
that.
No, does that not ring a bell? You remember Basecamp?
No.
And I think they were like one of the early days tech companies. Was it a productivity tool or something?
Something, yeah.
I think they had some crazy culture like that. That was really interesting. I would need to, that was a comment that was not that interesting if we don't know the details. I need to look it up again. But I think they had like a very interesting culture around respect and time and things like that.
The thing that like, I'm not sure how I feel about it, and I've had few experiences with it, not many. But the thing that I think can take away, that's like, there's a very easy way to ensure people are late less, which is have less meetings. That I know is like a cheat code and not even worth talking about, but I'm talking about it. So I guess it is worth talking about too, because I do think that like if you have a culture where there's too many meetings, people just inherently start showing up late to them because they matter less, right? It's like, that's like, if I don't think it's going to matter or be that important to me, it's hard. It's like those last 2 minutes become a little more mushier than they would if I think it's going to be important to me. It's the same reason why when we show up with client meetings, we show up a little bit earlier, because it's going to be important to kind of make sure that our time is given to them for the full amount of time and all of that sort of wonderful stuff. But I think honestly, I think a lot of corporate culture is pretty crap at having way too many meetings.
So many meetings.
You know what I mean?
I agree. It's a very hard cycle to break.
It is.
Because it's generally indicative of a certain thing in the culture that sometimes is good.
Yeah.
Like, we want everyone to have a voice.
Peer review.
We want everyone to have a voice, right? Like, which is a good intent.
Yeah.
Like, whatever your level or your department, we want you to have a say in this.
Yeah.
That leads to what?
Meetings.
Nothing.
Meetings.
Yeah.
Conversations.
Yeah.
Not necessarily nothing, but it is what is like a good intention leads to counterproductivity, right?
Yeah.
So it's a cycle that's really hard to break because it's indicative of something else. And you need to completely remold the culture of the company, generally speaking.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do,
hard.
especially when you get to a certain size.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
Like usually people are like, oh no, it's easy. We're going to make meetings just half an hour and blah, blah, blah.
And only like 5 people in every meeting.
Only 5 people.
That's it. That's the max.
And the people who don't speak are not in the meeting and blah, blah. And you're like, you're going to break your entire culture.
There was
That's what you're going to do.
There was like a famous office in Toronto where it was like, we only have 4 seats in the meeting room because only 4 people can be in the meeting at a time. Otherwise it gets, and it was like skip, jump, cut. They just built an office with all these tiny rooms that now had like 20 seats in them.
Yeah.
Like it clearly like, well, you just broke
Doesn't
the
work.
office. This is not going to work sort of thing.
I do believe in the standing meetings though.
What's the standing
Yeah,
meeting?
wait.
If people are standing.
Because it forces the meeting to happen faster?
Many people hate standing.
Do you hate standing, Biz?
Certain meetings, right? Certain meetings. No, but many people are like, I need a chair.
Right.
Show up in a room, they want a chair. It's the first reaction. You show up in a room, you want a chair. There's just a habit of like the modern human.
Yeah.
But if you even a high table and the meetings are shorter.
That's interesting.
And it's
less
not
cozy.
all meetings. I don't want all meetings to be 15 minutes. I do think certain could be.
Yeah.
And you just
well, that was part of the
chit-chat.
problem with the COVID moment, and frankly, the problem I still find with remote work a lot of the times too is that like there's a lot you achieve by just working in the same place where you don't have to have those sorts of meetings. Versus when you are working remotely or COVID, it's like suddenly you're like, hey, can I have like a meeting with you? And the meeting is literally like So that meeting that we just had, what's your take on it?
Yeah.
And it was like, that was supposed to be a conversation in the hallway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's we're not fixing it.
I think you got to wrap us up.
Oh, do we?
Did you want to add something? Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
I was just imagining you always on a hoverboard for some reason, like that
No,
guy in the
I'm not that
office, like a blazer, a hoverboard,
No,
CEO.
that's not me.
All right, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll see.
That's not me.
I know what we're getting you for Christmas.
I'm never going to get on it.
Sure, you say that now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to wrap us up. I think we had a very complicated conversation with lateness.
Complicated.
We started first talking about whether tech has given us more permission to be late, and just like kind of has it made us easier to slip into. And then we also talked about like how tough it is to actually implement full rigidity given all the nuances of the cultural conversation. Like every culture's different relationship to lateness and on timeness. So we said, okay, we got to start fixing and breaking this a little bit, and let's just go in on business, right? Because personal thing, we're not going to be able to solve it. So we were like, let's crack showing up on time for business. I don't think we got very far on that either. Some of the conversations, even when we broke it in half, some of the conversations we talked about were removing friction probably doesn't help because of what we all just went through during the pandemic. We talked about gamifying, which is like becoming a drinking game at this point. But I think the thing that we all came to that I don't know is a particularly big breakthrough is you got to make it a part of company values. And especially if you found a way to ensure that at the top level, certain things were put in place to ensure they always showed up early, that would be a good start. But then Biz, you talked about creating a culture of respect in general, and the importance of lunchtime, the importance of feeling like your time is also respected as well. Give people more time to just be human and give them the moments to do that as well, because that kind of creates that reciprocal effect of also knowing that when you are being asked for your time, that it's respected and that you should show up.
Mm-hmm.
Did we crack this, Biz?
No. Also, I love just being in a room with technically my bosses talking about what will make good work culture. Yeah, this has been really charming. Thank you guys. Yeah,
this is great.
Yeah,
You've been great.
Yeah,
Thank you for inventing our
company
culture.
Yeah, wonderful. No, I don't think we cracked it. It opens a lot of philosophical conversations that I think are tough and meaty, and it's actually quite a.
It's way more complicated than I thought.
For something on the surface that seems tangible, like time and productivity, it's actually very soft and like mushy, and there's a lot of factors in it. So I don't think we cracked it.
No,
it was fun though.
Roman, did we crack it?
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. No, I agree with everything Biz said.
Yeah.
It's the philosophy of time is where we should start.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it would take us hours and a few martinis.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'd be like, do we need to crack this?
Nothing matters.
Crackable?
Yeah.
Like, does that matter? Exactly. So
yeah.
No,
we didn't come close.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to add that you already haven't said. I think I brought an impossible to crack problem.
It was fun.
Like I honestly, even after the martinis, I don't know.
No, but we would talk about philosophy.
Yeah,
and
it'd be a great conversation.
Life is fun.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time.
All right.
Thank you all for listening or watching, and we'll see you next time on another episode of Crack It an Hour. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Crack It in an Hour. If you like the show, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. If you have questions, thoughts, or feedback, shoot us an email at hello@crackitpodcast.com or on Instagram @crackitpodcast. Music done by Michael Anastasi, cover art shot by Mick Mint, and all things audio and video taken care of by Nathan Nash. See you next time.